The Israel-Palestine conflict is a long-standing and deeply rooted dispute over territory and sovereignty in the Middle East, primarily centered around the State of Israel and the Palestinian territories of the West Bank and Gaza Strip. This conflict has been a source of tension and violence for decades and is characterized by complex historical, political, and religious dimensions. Roots of the conflict. Historical background. The conflict can be traced back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when Jewish immigrants began to settle in Palestine, then part of the Ottoman Empire. Over time, tensions between Jewish and Arab communities grew. Mandate period. After World War I, the League of Nations granted Britain the mandate to govern Palestine. During this period, Jewish immigration increased, leading to more tensions between Jewish and Arab populations. 1947 UN Partition Plan. The United Nations proposed a plan to partition Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem as an international city. The plan was accepted by Jewish leaders but rejected by Arab leaders, leading to a war in 1948. 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Following the declaration of the State of Israel in 1948, neighboring Arab states attacked Israel, resulting in further conflict. Occupation and settlements. Israel's occupation of the West Bank and Gaza Strip in 1967 and the establishment of Jewish settlements in these territories have been major sources of tension. Status of Jerusalem. The status of Jerusalem, a city holy to both Jews and Muslims, has been a central point of contention. Israel considers Jerusalem its undivided capital, while Palestinians seek East Jerusalem as the capital of a future Palestinian state. Current scenario. Escalation of violence. The conflict has witnessed periodic escalations of violence, with clashes between Israeli security forces and Palestinian groups in the Gaza Strip. These confrontations often result in casualties and property damage. Stalled peace talks. Direct peace negotiations between Israeli and Palestinian leaders have been largely stalled for years. The situation is complicated by a lack of trust, differing political leadership, and deep-seated historical grievances. Settlements and annexation. Israel's continued expansion of settlements in the West Bank and its discussions about potential annexation of certain territories have raised concerns. These actions are viewed by Palestinians and many in the international community as undermining the prospects for a two-state solution. Humanitarian conditions. In Gaza, a densely populated and blockaded territory, residents face severe humanitarian conditions, including restrictions on the movement of people and goods. Gaza's economy has been severely impacted, and basic services are often lacking. Jerusalem status. The status of Jerusalem remains a contentious issue. The U.S. decision in 2017 to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital and move its embassy there sparked international criticism and protests. Possible solutions in the current scenario. Finding a solution to the conflict remains challenging, but certain initiatives and approaches are relevant in the current context. International mediation. Continued involvement of international actors, such as the United Nations and key world powers, is essential in mediating peace talks and fostering negotiations. Diplomatic efforts can help reduce tensions and create an environment for dialogue. The new two-state solution. Many international actors continue to advocate for a two-state solution, with negotiations focused on borders, refugees, security, and Jerusalem status. This approach would involve compromises on both sides and international guarantees for a peace agreement. Civil society and grassroots initiatives. People-to-people initiatives, civil society organizations, and humanitarian efforts can mitigate some of the suffering and build bridges of understanding between communities. These efforts can help create an environment more conducive to negotiations. Support for economic development. Economic development projects in the Palestinian territories can improve living conditions and create opportunities. Enhanced economic prospects can contribute to stability and potentially increase support for peace initiatives. Dialogue and Track 2 diplomacy. Informal dialogues and unofficial diplomacy efforts can create channels for communication and trust building. Track 2 diplomacy can complement official negotiations and build confidence between the parties. Youth and education. Promoting education and youth engagement can help shape future leaders with a commitment to peace and coexistence. Educational programs that promote tolerance, understanding, and dialogue are essential. The Israel-Palestine conflict is a deeply ingrained issue with no easy solutions. However, ongoing international support, diplomatic efforts, and a commitment to dialogue and understanding remain crucial to addressing the current challenges and working toward a just and lasting resolution. It is important to note that developments in this conflict can change rapidly, and the situation may have evolved since my last knowledge update in January 2022.